Hello, thank you, and welcome to the special edition of the Prep Zone. I'm Rob Giampapa, joined by Coach Doug Ewell and Blake Francis from Westfield High School, here to talk about the school's first state championship run this year. Guys, how are we doing today?
Great, man.
Terrific. Blake, I'm going to start with you. Tell me a little bit about the first couple games of the season. You had some football players that weren't on the team yet. How did that affect you as a player?
It affected me a lot, just had to become more of a leader, and lead those guys. It was a new team, so, just had to bring them in, give them a little bit of that experience being on varsity. But, once the football players came back, everybody got comfortable as a team.
Perfect. Well, Coach, how happy were you when this guy transferred into Westfield?
Oh, my goodness. Blake, his brother Brandon played for us, and Blake took the opportunity to go to O'Connell and played a lot at O'Connell. So it was when I had to cut discussions with him and his dad about coming back. It was, man, when he said, "Hey, I'm in," I was really excited.
I'm sure you were. I'm sure you were. Well, Blake, so at the beginning of the season, did you know you kind of had to buy your time until the football players got back, or was it a little bit more of a struggle for you to get going right there?
I think it was a little bit of a struggle, but we just got things going just in practice, and I think everything just took flow in that part, and I think that was really just the main part, just everyone getting on the same track in practice, which would help us lead.
So when everybody got back, the team was at full strength. How long did it take you to know that this could be a special year for the team?
Right when we first practiced, when the football players came back, we knew we had a goal, which was to get back into the state tournament and make a run.
All right. Well, it's a long season. What was the toughest part of the year for you?
I would have to say conference play. That's the mid-season. That's the season where that's the time where most teams get complacent. They try to get comfortable. I just think we couldn't be okay with getting comfortable. We just had to keep working hard and get better in practice every day.
Coach, early in the season, did you have to talk to Blake and the rest of the team and remind them, hey guys, it'll be different once those guys get back here? Or how was that as a coach?
I never really talked about that. We talked more about the younger kids getting some experience that they may not get later on in the season. So early, some guys like Nick Albert and DJ, they were getting major minutes. And we knew that as the football guys got back, their minutes would be less, but they would be more experienced due to those football guys not being there.
Okay.
And in the state semifinals and the finals, Nick Albert really showed up. And I don't know if those things would be possible if he had those minutes early. Okay. So those unfortunates early, they hurt, but not as much as they would have hurt if the football players were there.
All right. Now, Blake, your scoring exploded this year. What did you do to your game to become a dominant scorer in the year?
I think just learning how to move without the ball, and, just working on the things that I usually work on just to perfect it at my best, and, shooting off the dribble, catching, shooting, just little things like that, ball handling and stuff like that, yeah. So.
Now, Coach, what is the best part about coaching a guy with Blake's ability?
Man, that's really simple. Let him go.
All right.
The one thing about Blake, Blake worked so hard on his game and in his craft that it was, I don't want to say that we pigeonholed him a little bit last year, but we really did let it go. We knew that last year we were more defensive oriented. This year we were more offensive oriented. And so it allowed Blake to blossom and really show up.
And well, on the flip side, what's the hardest part about coaching a guy with that ability?
One of the things that I love about Blake the most is that if he misses a shot, he believes the second one's going to go in, and that is it's a hard. He never got discouraged when a shot was missed, which was huge. The hardest part is sometimes slowing him down, because sometimes we'd be up 5 or 6 or 8 or 9, in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes to go, and he's like, man, I got to open look, I'm going to knock this down. And it would go, and I'd be like, man, we don't need that shot right now.
Right.
Even though it went, so it was a good thing to have,
All right. Well, Blake, let me ask you, going through the season, who's a player, too, that you knew you had to bring your A game to face?
I think when we played Woodside, Devontae Carter, you know, he's a real good player. He's big and he's long, and he you know, he can finish around the paint. I mean, around the rim really well. And, you know, he hunts the paint well. And, you know, that was just a good task to go up against. You know, he's a real good competitor.
And now that regional championship in that game, it's a tough loss to Battlefield. How did you bounce back? How did the team bounce back from that loss?
You know, I think it was a good thing for us. You know, we realized, you know, we had to bring our A game for the state tournament. You know, I think that helped us prepare for that week going into state tournament. You know, we all got together in film session and in practice, and, you know, we did everything the coaches told us to do, and, you know, we executed and got ready for the state title, and that's what we did.
And Coach, how did you try to get them to turn it around after that loss?
Well, sometimes, you know, when you go on a 20-game winning streak, you get complacent. And the things that we didn't do in the Battlefield game was showing up in some other games before that. And that being said, we didn't lose.
Right.
And then to be unfortunate against Battlefield, it brought all those things to head. And it let us, you know, refocus, and it allowed them to refocus. Because I think us as coaches, we probably weren't as tough as we should have been during that, you know, 20-game win streak. But then after that one unfortunate, it was easy to, hey man, we got to do this, this, and this, and it made things so much better.
There you go. Mm-hmm. And I mean, what has impressed you most about his play this year?
If you watched us in the state tournament, you saw the most mature Blake Francis that you'll ever see. He took complete command of our basketball team. You know, there were times during the season where I didn't want Blake to get in foul trouble, so I would put him on maybe not the strongest guard. And throughout the state tournament, like, Blake, you got to guard everybody's best guard. Blake, you gotta lead this team and make sure everybody is getting involved, and we're gonna take nothing but open shots or something getting hard to the paint. We're not taking forced shots. And he led us that way, and that was just awesome. And without that, we don't win a state title.
And how did you take that challenge on from Coach?
You know, I told him, yes, sir. You know, I'll do it. You know, I'll do anything to help this team win, and that's what I did, and that's what led to this result. You know, state title win.
Okay. And who do you pattern your game after? Who do you steal things from when you see them play? Who do you like to watch?
I like to watch Kemba Walker and Chris Paul. You know, I just like the way Chris Paul, you know, controls, you know, the whole game throughout, you know, his pace, his poise. And Kemba Walker, I just like his shiftiness, the way he shoots off the dribble and stuff like that. Yeah.
Step back ain't bad.
Yes, sir.
All right. And what are your best strengths on the court?
I think my best strengths are my defense. I would say just shooting off the dribble. You know, my combo moves off the dribble. You know, yeah, that's pretty much my strengths, I think, right now so far.
Tell me a little bit about playing for Coach Ewell. He would get into you every once in a while during games.
Yes, sir.
He's not shy about it.
Yes, sir. Coach Ewell is the type of coach that, you know, that'll get the best out of you. You know, he pushes you every day in practice. And, you know, I think that's what he did, you know, to get me to the point where I am today. You know, he got the best out of me, and I really thank him for that. Excellent.
Now, Coach, let me ask you. Tell me a little bit about your coaching style, your philosophy, how you like to work things.
I like to think that I'm a player's coach. They come to me with suggestions. We do it. When we come out of timeouts, I ask them what play they want to run, because I want to run what they feel most comfortable with. I challenge them every day on the defensive end. I'm a defensive-minded guy first, and so we push defensively every day. And we're not much of a team that's going to play a bunch of zones and things like that. We're a man-to-man type of team, and I challenge them every day there to allow them to have some freedom on the offensive end, which they know that our defense creates our offense, which allows them to have freedom. So if they want freedom, they got to play defense.
Right.
In which, you know, I don't ever second guess the shots that they take. I do second guess their defensive effort.
All right.
And so that's really simple. You know, it's not really difficult.
Yeah. All right. Well, both of you, what is the most memorable part for you of that state tournament run?
I just think when the clock hit 000 in the state championship game, it was unforgettable feeling, and that was just a good moment to be with my team, my brothers.
Really simple. We were in that locker room celebrating together that we won the last game. And we walked out of that locker room and up that gate at VCU, and our fans and family was there, and we hugged and we laughed and we cherished. And I got a picture of Blake and I and his mom and dad and Coach Hawk together. It'll be in my basement really soon. Yeah. And that just says that we finished something. And we're the first at Westfield. No one can ever take it away from us, and that's really about it.
Excellent. Well, guys, congratulations to you both. Now let's take a look at the upcoming DMV Stream Nova Challenge at Marshall High School on April 10th.
It's the DMVSTREAM.COM Nova Challenge, the third annual installment of Northern Virginia's premier All-Star Basketball Showcase event is expanding. This year's April 10th event will welcome the top seniors from Fairfax, Loudoun, Arlington, Prince William, and the city of Alexandria for an action-packed day. In addition to the two All-Star games, the area's best public school basketball players will compete in a dunk contest and a three-point contest. Underclassmen will also have access to a developmental clinic hosted by our friends at Evolution Basketball. Now, not only has this year's event grown from one game to two, but by becoming the title sponsor of this event, DMVStream.com will be providing you, the viewers and fans, the exceptional, state-of-the-art coverage you've come to expect from us. As the Mid-Atlantic's #1 source for live sports broadcasting, well, DMVStream.com, we're going to broadcast this year's event live to computers, tablets, mobile devices, and we'll also make the replays available on demand on the internet, as well as our relationships with local cable television access channels. DMVStream.com produces live broadcasts for professional, semi-pro, and amateur sporting events, as well as colleges, universities, high schools, AAU, and youth tournament organizations throughout the Mid-Atlantic. With a client list that includes ESPN, The Washington Post, Monumental Sports Network, CBSSports.com, USAFootball.com, USLacrosse.org, NCAA.com, the National Federation of High School Sports, Georgetown University, among others, Synthesis Multimedia Productions and DMVStream.com has emerged as the Mid-Atlantic's top provider of multimedia. Now, the DMVStream.com Nova Challenge, featuring Nova's premier basketball players on April 10th. You can find out more about that at DMVStream.com and NovaChallenge.com. We'll see you there.
Welcome back to the Prep Zone. We're joined now by Tyler Scanlon of the Westfield Bulldogs. Tyler, you started in the summer, went on a state title run with football, jumped right into basketball, and went on a state title run there. How hard did you crash after the basketball season finished?
I'd like to say that I took a lot of time off, but it's just business as usual, really. I've been doing it my whole life, going from football. I used to play baseball, so I used to have no break, but going from football into basketball, it's just the way it's always been, and that's something that Westfield provided me, and that's something that made it so appealing, is I was able to do something that I've done my entire life. And it's definitely going to be weird next year not going through those August days, doing two-a-days, but trying to set an example for the younger guys. Got to get your work in. Westfield's got something to do next year.
Excellent. Let me ask you, did you know before you got on the basketball team this year, before you finished your football run, did you know how good the team would be going into the year?
I think I understood the potential, but there was a lot of variables, whether certain guys could step up. I don't think anybody knew that Corey Jones was going to end up being such a good defender. And I don't think anybody really saw that Hank Johnson was going to have 4 threes in the first half of the state championship. It's things that we saw like outside of the outdoor courts, and there's things that you saw. He might be able to do that. There's a chance. But really seeing that come to fruition in the games and really when it mattered, that was something that was really cool. So we always knew we had a chance. It just had to get the work done.
Now, Coach, what did it mean to you the first day Tyler walked onto the court?
Tyler was in mid-season form from day one, because for those that don't know, every day during football season, Tyler would come in and get 500 shots up. So it was, it was just that he was there. Now, he would come to every practice. He would shoot around after football practice every day when we had practice, and he would make sure that he knew what we were running. And so when he got there, it was mid-season for him.
Now, did you hold your breath during that whole football state title run?
Not 1 second during football season, because usually kids that get hurt are the ones that aren't playing. They get hurt in practice. I was more worried about a person getting hurt, Tyler getting hurt in practice, than I was a game.
Okay. All right. When you joined the team, you guys ran off a lot of wins. How did you stay motivated after winning one state title? How did you stay motivated going into the basketball season?
I think we were more afraid to lose than it was about going after another state championship.
Okay.
It was more game by game, as we didn't want anybody to say that we beat those guys. And it got to a point where we were gelling so well and we had so much confidence, it was almost like we couldn't lose. We were playing, that's what, I think if there's one thing that we brought the football guys, it was that confidence and toughness of this is how it's done, this is how you go attack the season. And obviously you're going to have slip-ups here and there, you're going to have bad games, and at the end of the day you realize that there's still the ultimate goal, and that ultimate goal for us was winning the last game. Making sure that you win the last game of the season, and we accomplished that.
Well, what was the most difficult part of the season for you?
I say the Northern Region playoffs. There was a lot of guys weren't feeling well. Played a lot of games against good teams, and teams that wanted to beat you, and you were playing for your lives. And we didn't end up the way we wanted to in the region, but we set ourselves up to where we had a chance to accomplish that goal, which was win the last one. And by winning that game in the region and setting ourselves up, we knew that we had a chance to do what we wanted to do.
All right. And did that loss to Battlefield, did it wake you up? Did it wake the team up? How did it kickstart the state
Wake up
run?
might be an understatement.
Okay.
We definitely, me and Coach Ewell had some words with each other. We had a team meeting, and it was all good. We were trying to figure things out, and sometimes you gotta talk in a stern manner, yeah. And I think we really picked up our defense. And if you look at the last 3 games, 49 to Hilton, 50 against Woodside, and I think it was 56 against Oscar Smith. And that's really where we wanted to be. Keep teams in the 50s. We felt like we could outscore them. And if you looked at the region games, we were giving up a lot more than that. And that's where, after that loss, we really realized, rebounds, defense, effort. That's what it's going to be.
Okay. So you're saying you started listening to your coach after the region? That's what you're saying. Now, Coach, what does it mean to you to have a leader like Tyler on the floor?
Oh my goodness. It's an extension of the coaching staff. I can't tell you how many times during the season, after practice, Tyler would come in and say, "Hey, Coach, what do you think about this?" He was always thinking the game. Tyler made everybody on the court better every night. Not too many people have 11 triple-doubles during the season.
Right. 11
triple-doubles. And so, people, I'm looking at it right now where he averaged 23.5 points a game, but that doesn't say the 12.5 rebounds and the 8.5 assists a night. It's just an extension.
Well, who would you compare him to on the court?
Oh my goodness. I guess you go Westbrook, because Westbrook gets triple doubles every night. That's what I would guess. Tyler is something that the Northern Region hasn't had in a long time. A guy that's doing it on both ends and giving it up and getting rebounds and scoring. It's a tough loss for Westfield.
What went through your mind as the buzzer went off in the state title game?
I think that was a different game because we knew for the last couple minutes that it was going in our favor. I'd say Woodside was a lot more like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we just won that game. But at the same time, for that state championship, there was a time when me and Hank Johnson, who played football, Blake was shooting free throws and there was a minute left, and we looked at each other and we're like, and we really just win both. And that's something we talked about during the summer, is being the best class that has passed through Westfield. And that's, Coach Ewell talked about leaving a legacy. And that's something where the seniors got together towards the end of that game during some of those free throws, and it was like, oh, we're the first state championship for basketball, and we set the bar. And that's where teams are going to have to look up to us after, say this is where we want to be. And that was something really special.
Ooh, to piggyback off that, what did it mean to you to win that state title with this group of seniors?
Obviously very special. After we won the state title, we took a second when we got back in the locker room to remember the team before that didn't finish because they fueled us to this state title. Right. But this group was different because we've had other teams that went undefeated in the district. We've had other teams that won district titles. We've had other teams that won regional titles, but we never had a team that won a state title. And, they did it. And, they set the bar really high for the future.
What's playing for Coach Ewell like?
Coach Ewell is one of the hardest coaches to play for, but one of the easiest coaches to play for. Because if you play defense and you play hard, it's really easy. He lets you do what you want to do. But playing defense and playing hard isn't always easy. So, I think me and Coach Ewell really gelled well this year. Last year, I think sometimes I was tentative to say we should do this or we should do that. But this year, he was really confident in me. If I wanted to suggest a defense on the court, hey, we should run this, maybe we should run that, I'd say, go for it and see what happens. He trusted us. And I think that's really what made us so special towards the end of the year, is we felt that this was our team, not necessarily Coach Ewell's team, not necessarily the players' team. We were all collectively as a unit, we took ownership in it. And that's where if you take ownership of something, you want the best product out there. And we wanted to make sure that we showed that we could handle it.
What will you miss most about playing at Westfield?
I think the fans, having all your buddies there, yelling and screaming for you. When they're crying after you lose in the region finals, that's pretty special because it shows how much a part of it they are, how dedicated they are to us. And also, I'll miss playing with my teammates. These are kids that I grew up with. I've played with them since the 2nd and 3rd grade. And that's a really cool feeling as you've traveled. It's so long. 10, 12 years later, that's when you're playing for a state championship. Right. That's cool.
Well, you're obviously one of the handful of top players in the area here. What is that pressure like on a night in and night out basis?
I think it's fun.
Okay.
Going out there and just saying, I'm going to try to beat you. And it's the team. I could care less if I had 4 or 5 points. If I did the rest of what I was supposed to do, I played hard, I got rebounds and passed the ball. As long as we win as a team, I'm happy. And that's really what I tried to pride myself on, was Westfield's going to beat you tonight, and that's how it's going to be. And beyond that, if people want to talk, give them something to talk about wins.
Yeah. All right. And what was your favorite place to play? Is it at home or is it on the road? Do you like to shut the crowd up, or do you like to hear your crowd cheering for you?
Coach Ewell tried to hype us up in the beginning of the year about being road warriors. And all of us were like, nah, Coach, we like playing at home. Yeah. But by the end of the year, we love playing on the road. It was awesome going, and as he says, you kind of hear the crowd hush over the last couple minutes. But a specific gym, I like playing at Herndon. Herndon was a great atmosphere. It was small, but it wasn't too small, and it was always just a great crowd, both sides, and that was a really cool place to play. Was Herndon.
All right. Who was the toughest player that you faced?
Last year, we played against Justin Vargo from Osborne Park, and that kid could play. When he wanted to, he showed us he could really play, and that was one of the few times I think as Westfield as a defense we felt helpless for a little bit, because he was making some shots that were just 25-foot fadeaways that were banking in and ones, and he was really playing well against us. So if there was one, say, dominant performance that kind of left us dumbfounded for a little bit, it was probably that.
Yeah. Well, going back to the gyms and playing in different places, obviously their student sections get a little bit crazy. There's hecklers all over the place. Can you ignore all that stuff at the time? Because you're one of the guys, they would take shots at you all the time.
Yeah.
You were the face of Westfield for that. They would take shots at you all the time. Can you ignore that stuff, or are there times that you just want to dunk on the entire crowd there?
There's definitely times that you want to. I've been hearing that stuff since freshman year.
Right.
It's nothing new to me, it's something I realized that it's the respect of the game. They wouldn't be yelling it at me if they didn't think that I could beat them. And that's part of it, is when you're on a successful team and you do the things that you do, and for most of the season you don't get beaten, people are going to take shots at you to try to get you off your game. And if you keep winning, you're just proving them wrong.
There you go.
And at the end of the day, when you win state championships in both sports, thank you for the motivation. I'll take all your heckling all day.
There you go. All right. Well, last thing I got for you, why did you pick Boston University?
Boston was a good fit for me because academically it suited what I needed. It was a city school, but it wasn't overwhelming. Coach Jones was there from the beginning for me. He was always recruiting me heavily. And it felt like it was the right place with the guys. The teammates on the visits I had up there were very accommodating, great guys. And I felt like it was a place I wanted to spend 4 years. And it was a place that I felt like I wanted to get my degree. So, that's basically it. I'm hoping I'm going to go up there and do everything I hope to accomplish.
All right. Well, Coach, let me ask you this. Are there plans at Westfield to build a statue to Tyler Scanlon outside? Because if there's not, I'll start it right now.
Well, you're going to have to start it because, as good as he is and as well as he is, it's still Westfield High School.
There you go. All right. Well, terrific. Thank you, guys. Congratulations on the state title. And
Appreciate it.
thank you for joining us on the special edition of the Prep Zone.
Have a good one. Thank you.